fun, man. I cannot wait to watch you guys play.
Coming to you from the My Michigan TV studios.
We're going to kick you in the teeth.
It's the Roar Live.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
With hosts, the outsider, Scotty Williams.
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Mr. Tell It Like It Is, Corey Tiez.
The quicker you accept that, man, the better off we're all going to be.
With special guests, Lion fans across the nation.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Roar Live, streaming live on your My Michigan TV app, YouTube, Facebook, and beyond. You can also find us in audio form on your favorite podcasting platform. Just search for the Co and Bro Opinion Show. Final last night at Ford Field, Lions 31 and the Vikings 9, clinching home field advantage and the number 1 seed. So much to talk about tonight with this game and also the NFL playoff picture, this and much more. But guess what? We want to hear from you. So just scan that QR code on your screen to get into the conversation. If you want to be heard but not seen, the Roar Chat is another way to get you your answers. We can answer your questions, comments.
Yep.
Give your answers to the Roar Trivia and the Roar poll questions. There's too many roars.
Right.
Tongue twister.
Right.
What might those questions be this week, Scotty? Well, the Roar question of the week is this. Hopefully I can stump them again, Co.
Oh, God, okay.
What Detroit Lion tight end has the most career touchdowns? Is it A, Sam Laporta, C, Charlie Sanders, B, Charlie Sanders, C, Brandon Pettigrew, D, David Hill, or E, David Sloan? We'll find out later on in the show. If you have an answer to that, get in on the Zoom. Get in on the Roar Chat. We want to hear from you.
That's a good
the
one.
poll question this week, this was written in by a Cohen Bro Opinion Show and Roar Live listener.
Okay.
Tank Davis from Detroit, Michigan said, should the NFL consider a playoff reseeding format to give the teams with better records a higher seed and a chance for a home game over a division winner that is automatically locked into a home game in the wild card round? That's a good question.
That is.
We'll talk about
That's a good
that.
question.
We'll definitely talk about that. Co and I will discuss this tonight and, of course, get all of your opinions and answers as well. Mr. Tell It Like It Is over here. We'll have a Tell It Like It Is a little later on in the show. But first, we are going to go to the highlights.
Let's do it.
Highlights.
The first scoring would occur at 1:43 left in the first quarter. Jahmyr Gibbs would go 25 yards for a touchdown, his first of 4 on the day. 6:35 into the second quarter. Former Alabama Crimson Tide Will Reichard would put 3 on the board for the Vikes. And then, with 20 seconds left in the quarter number 2, Will Reichard would hit again, this time a 31-yard field goal to cut Minnesota's deficit to 7-6. But the Lions would not be denied to end the first half. Mr. Bigfoot Jake Bates would boot his 48-yarder as time expired for a 10-6 lead to end the half. Will Reichard would get it going again, this time a 51-yard boot through the uprights
51.
to bring the Vikings to within 1, 10-9. But after that, folks, it was the Jahmyr Gibbs show. 2:30 left in the third. Goff to Gibbs, 10-yard TD pass, 17-9 Lions. The Vikings, who were, in my opinion, pretty frazzled offensively, tried for a 51-yarder, but Will Reichard would miss. Then, early in the fourth quarter, Gibbs would take this and gallop into the end zone for a 13-yard run, 24-9 Lions, and it wouldn't stop there. Finally, with 5:14 left in the fourth, the man they call Sonic would put this game out of reach with a 4-yard run pushed in by his guys. We've seen it all year long. 31-9, and that's how it would stay, clinching the number 1 seed, clinching the division title. Yeah. Pretty exciting game, but wouldn't you say that, Coach?
It was. It was exciting for the Lions and
Would
Lions
you-
fans.
I mean, I'll tell you what. Did you see what Dan Campbell said to O'Connell when they met at the field?
No. What did
He
you
said,
say?
I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Really?
Dan Campbell, I think, thinks he's going to see the Vikings. They got to get through the Rams. We'll talk about the playoff picture with them in a little bit. But let's talk about this game. I feel the Lions did a good job adapting to this Viking offense who, they shut Jefferson down. They shut Addison down. Hawkinson couldn't get anything going. I don't know where the run game went to for them, but I mean, what's your opinion on the defense?
Well, I got three words to say.
Okay.
Here. Glenn,
Okay.
Gibbs, and Darnold. Glenn had his defense prepared. He had them ready to go. They came out. They played aggressive. They played fast. They played hard. They played tough. So kudos to Aaron Glenn. Gibbs is the best back in football. Let's just start there.
Right.
Name me something that he can't do.
Yeah, he was pretty good last night.
He's the best back in football.
They have not missed a beat with Montgomery being out.
We don't need him. They
You
don't
don't
need
think
him.
we need him at all?
No. Gibbs is the best back in football. I know people, Henry and Saquon and this another kid. Sometimes you can bottle up Saquon. You can't do anything with this kid. Just can't. The kid is the best back in football. His feet, his cuts, his strength. He's not going to be denied. He's always a threat. He's always a threat when he gets the ball. He catches it out of the backfield. He blocks. He's tough. Best back in football. Third thing I have to say is Darnold.
He looked frazzled last night.
Well,
And I would assume he's probably not going to get as big of a contract coming into next year with him being a free agent.
he's
Or do you
still-
think somebody's going to give him a long-term deal?
it's tough. He still has the playoffs. But let's keep in mind, folks, I know Lions fans think this catapults him to the Super Bowl. It doesn't. Still got the playoffs to go. But Darnold turned back into, what's the fairy tale? He turned back into a pumpkin. Is it Cinderella?
He did look bad.
Listen.
But I really credit that to the defense, though. I mean, they were blitzing him hard.
Listen, I've been preaching Darnold. I said it's always up to him. Last week I said on the show, who plays the best quarterback wins. They had 9 points.
Yeah.
You got arguably the best receiver in the game. I'm still going to give him just a little bit over the kid in Cincinnati. I don't know. Is Jefferson a great route runner?
Well, let me ask you something. I heard you and Tony was saying this earlier on in the season.
Listen.
Jefferson's the best out there. But if you're the best, you get stopped by Robertson. And these are the kind of games that you got to step up if you're the best receiver.
Well,
or do you think it's Darnold's fault?
50-50.
Or is it the play calling?
Well, it could be a little bit of that. But the kid wasn't, they didn't throw it. Like Addison was shut. They didn't do anything in the biggest game. And let me tell you something. Minnesota needed this game more than the Lions.
Oh, yeah.
Because Lions are better. The Lions are better. I love Minnesota's coach, though. But remember when Minnesota was 13-3 back when nobody was This is them. This is them again. You know why? Because Darnold didn't live up. It looked like he was gay. The lights, everything looked too big for him. It looked too fast. He turned back into the Jets. It's the reason why he's been traded 4 or 5 times. So, hats off to that Lions defense. They came to play yesterday. I still don't buy them. But, hey, it was a big game, and they showed up for a big game. That's what you do. That's what good teams do. They don't let down. You know, they come in with the mindset of we're going to take their best, and we're going to deal with it, and we're going to give them our best, and we're going to out-physical them. They bullied them.
They did do that.
They put 9 points. Show you how much I know. I had the Vikings scoring like 35 points, 38 points or something like that. They had 9.
I thought you did make the prediction that the Vikings would win.
I did. But then I thought throughout the week, I said, Darnold. And I've been pulling for the kid. I really have. I don't know what's going to happen with Minnesota. Maybe they don't get rid of JJ so soon. I don't know. But he looked frazzled. And in these type of games, you can't do that. You just can't.
You are watching The Roar Live right here on My Michigan TV, YouTube, Facebook, and beyond. We want to hear from you. That's the call-in QR code to get in on the action. The Roar question this week is this: what tight end has the most career touchdowns? Is it Sam Laporta, Charlie Sanders, Brandon Pettigrew, David Hill? I remember David Hill from Another One Bites the Dust.
Number one are you guys trying to trick us with the Laporta thing? Is that a trick? Is that a throw in there?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And you got I totally forgot about David Sloan.
I got it.
He was a pretty good tight end here.
I got it. I think I got this one.
You think you got this one?
I think so.
Well, Mark from Brighton writes in, Roar question answer, he picks B. That's Charlie Sanders.
Okay.
And the poll question this week, which was written in by our listener Tank Davis from Detroit, should the NFL consider a playoff reseeding format to give the teams with a better record a higher seed and a chance for a home game over a division winner that is automatically locked into a home game in the wild card round? He says reseeding wouldn't be a bad idea, and it would make franchises accountable.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your weaker. You've seen it.
Yeah.
With the Lions,
Yeah.
the North Division pretty much, obviously, is the best in the NFC. But I wonder. That's a good question. I wonder if that would really make a difference, because I feel like if you're like a let's say a Minnesota team that's got 14 wins, now you have to go to LA, who I think they were only 10-6.
10-6, something like that.
Something like that, 10-7, and let's see here, they were 10-7. So, do you think? I feel like if you're a good team, you should be able to win on the road.
Yeah,
And I think like even divisions can vary from year to year. The West was good at one time.
Yeah.
The East was good at one time.
Yeah.
So I think, in my opinion, I feel like if you win the division, you should at least be guaranteed one home game in the wild card.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, the question was, I mean, it's a good question, but it's fair. It's a bit. It's unfortunately it's not fair. Teams like Minnesota, now they're the 5th seed, right? So it's been that way since time began. So it's a good way to kind of make it fair and things like that. But I agree with you. Like I don't care. Minnesota should go beat the Rams.
They should.
You know what I mean? Like I said.
But you said the Rams were going to be scary.
They are. And to me, this was just another. It wasn't meaningless, but I don't see it making a difference. I don't see if the Lions were going the road. They don't really need home field advantage the way they've been playing. They can win the East. I mean, they can win the NFC. The problems they're going to have is the AFC.
Yes.
They can win the NFC. They can. I don't know if they will, but they can. So I think, to the question, I think if you're a good enough team, it doesn't matter where you play. So
I agree with you.
I don't want to. I don't want to hear. Lions. This getting them into the home field advantage. This is the thoughts of Lion fans. I know them. I know a whole bunch of them. Going to Super Bowl. Hold your horses. Pump your brakes. But yeah, no matter where you are, I think it's the playoffs. Now everybody's 0-0. New season, new coaching. People start thinking. People start overthinking.
Do you think this is a good deal for the Lions having a week off to recoup a little bit?
They do. They need it. They've been playing football forever, and they've been winning forever.
I think it's been since like week 5.
Yeah, and this is the thing too. I'm a little concerned about, will they have a bad game? The last bad game they had was the Texans, and they still won that one. So you have to go back to Tampa Bay.
But would you say they had a bad game against the Bills?
No. They played good. They
started off slow, though. Kind of like what they did this week against the Vikings.
Well, Campbell, the word he used, resilient. So, yeah, they could have won that Bills game, too. So they could have won that game. Let's not get that. But they've been playing a lot of football, well-deserved rest. And shout out to the Lions. This is something that you've never done in your franchise history. Yeah. You've never hosted the entire hookup, the entire thing. So, wow, that's big. Great season.
Well, let me ask you something.
15-2.
You hear all these people, the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC has to go through Detroit. Would you say that's an accurate statement?
I'm going to say yes. Obviously, it has to. They're the top dogs.
Sure.
But it won't be as easy as people think. They can win it. Doesn't matter how you win it. Doesn't matter how many points you win it by. But it won't be an easy road. So we're going to see. This is interesting, man. The Lions hosting throughout the playoffs. Wow. 100 years of losing.
Yeah, absolutely.
100 years of losing. Again, does this make Dan Campbell their best coach ever?
Well,
Let's poll question that.
We should poll question that when we get into the playoff game. I agree with you. Larry from Detroit says, go Lions. B is his answer to the Roar question. That would be Charlie Sanders.
Okay.
He said reseeding would stink. Division winners should be awarded in some way.
Division winners should be awarded. Well, they're awarded in baseball, right?
But do they reseed in baseball? What major sports do they reseed in? Nowhere.
NBA, baseball, hockey. You win your division. That's automatic.
Yeah.
I
think that would water things.
Well, they
down
do seeds in basketball.
Okay.
The more wins, the most.
Okay.
Yeah, they do that. However many wins, the more wins you got, the higher your seed.
Donald from Westland. Great show, guys. Lions know how to adapt all year long. Super Bowl is next. And he says C to the answer to the Roar question. And that would be Brandon Pettigrew. Brandon Pettigrew had a couple of decent seasons in Detroit.
I'm going with Pettigrew.
You're going with Pettigrew.
Yeah,
Okay.
He stole my shine.
Okay. Thank you, Donald, for that.
Thanks, Donald.
So getting back to this game now, were you surprised that they struggled early in this game?
No. The Lions are so loaded. Like, sometimes it just takes a minute to get into rhythm.
Okay.
They're a rhythm team. They are a rhythm team. Once they get into rhythm, then the opposing team has a problem. But it takes them sometimes. Like you said, again, people are injured now. The people are slow starts. That happens. It's just, like I said, Campbell used a word the other day, resilient. They're resilient. So they start slow, and they're going to start. But that's the make of a good team. Starting slow, finishing fast. So that's
because once they started going, they couldn't stop them. Are you surprised at the Vikings defense a little bit? All year long you've been hearing what a great defense, and Van Ginkel really was the only guy on that defense that made a statement. But the Lions really they really frazzled them.
They did.
Do you think they have too many? You think it's because they have too many weapons? Because I had heard something earlier on this week, and somebody said this Lions team is different because they always had at least one star on the team, whether it was Barry Sanders, Stafford, Johnson. Now you have more than one star on this team, whether it's Goff, Williams, Gibbs, Laporta, St. Brown.
See,
That's a lot to handle as a defense because you can't take your eye off Gibbs, and it almost kind of sets up for man to man. And with these guys with the speed that they have, that's hard to do.
He blows up your defense.
Yeah,
Gibbs is just the guy. He blows up your defense. That's the concern. He's the concern. The defensive coordinator, we go in, he blows up the defense. Unlike everybody else, I don't think the Lions have a bunch of stars. I think they have a bunch of really good players. Gibbs is a star. Gibbs is a star. Sewell's a star. That's it. I still don't. Amaron, he's good. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's great, but he is very good. He's very valuable. But the stars, the superstars, is Sewell and Gibbs. Goff's not a superstar either. But what they do well. They rhythm. And Goff, he's playing lights out and he protects the ball. They protect the ball. You don't see a lot of Lions turnovers. People don't mention that. They don't turn the ball over that much either. So.
Robert from Flint writes in, A is his answer to the Roar trivia, and he said the division winners would be worthless, so no reseeding. Which I think if you did, it really would be kind of worthless. And that's a good point. Because, you would almost have to go to, you'd have to go to conference. And then you would lose out on, your division foes, having to play them twice in a year, those rivalries. Because if you would almost have to go to just be conference, everybody in the same, kind of like the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Everybody's in the same conference.
So I think the thing is, if you're 6-6, or say they play 12, whatever you are, and you're 500 and you still get a home playoff game, that's what this is all about, right? If somebody is 10-6, yeah.
Because when you look at who this coming up this week, the Texans have a home field, even though they're 10-7. Chargers have a better record, 11-6.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
What else? We had also the Commanders, who are 6 seed, 12-5, would have to go to Tampa,
right.
and who were 10-7.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I have mixed emotions on this.
Yeah. Yeah, it can go either way.
Because if you're, like you said, like earlier in the thing, I think it was Robert said, if you're a good team, you can win on the road.
You can. Lions have
the
proven
Lions are 8-0 on the road.
Lions have proven that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Good question, though.
Interesting. Let's get into the Lion Pro Bowlers.
They have some this year?
They have.
They have 2, I know.
No, they have more than that.
Sue, Gibbs,
Goff.
Amara. Yeah, he's earned it.
Jameer Gibbs.
That's easy.
St. Brown.
That's easy.
Sewell. Ragnow, the center, made it. Brian Branch made it. Here's a surprise for me. I have 2 surprises. Jack Fox, the punter. How many times did he have to punt this year with that offense?
Not a lot. Jake made it, right?
No, Jake did not make it. And he also beat Jason Hansen's single season scoring record.
Yeah. Jake's nice. He's not better than Aubrey. They're the best too, but Jake's nice.
I have to disagree with you on that. Since I'm sitting here with my Jake Bates shirt on. But listen, another snub, in my opinion. Kirby Joseph got snubbed. He's leading the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of a.
Yeah.
I think I would have picked Joseph over Branch.
Yeah, because Branch was out for a minute. Didn't he get suspended or something like that?
I don't know
Or
if
out
he
for
was
a game
suspended,
or for a game or I don't know.
Well, Kirby Joseph, I think they both had their share of injuries.
Yeah.
But
Well, Joseph was very opportunistic.
I mean, maybe Joseph will get in as a reserve or something. Is that how they usually do?
The new Merton Hanks. That's Joseph. He plays just like him. Like Hanks used to sit back, and that opportunity showed, he picked that ball off, man. So, yeah, shout out to the Lions making a Pro Bowl. A whole bunch of them.
Well, let's
about time.
see this. I have some more Roar chats.
It's about time.
DeMarco from Detroit said, winning a division would account for something. C is his answer to the question, which I believe that would be, what did we say that was on C?
Was it Pettigrew?
It was David. Oh, no, Pettigrew. So
Pettigrew,
he decided to go with Pettigrew.
I'm with him. Yep. I'm going Pettigrew.
Ganji from Taylor. I don't think reseeding would make a huge difference. B is my answer to the question.
Okay.
He said Charlie Sanders.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's a good answer, too.
Andy from Livonia came in, said, awesome show, love the Roar Live. Interesting question. I like to know if it's really affected many teams' chances in the reseeding part. Like, I wonder how many better record teams, because they had to travel, has that affected? That would be a nice little statistical thing to look into. What do you? How I like going into stats.
Well, let me ask you this. So,
Sure.
if the Lions lose, they go to the Super Bowl, they lose it, right? Would you rather have them 15-2, obviously, or 9-8, and win it? So the 9-8, because you can do that. You're in the playoffs. The Giants did it. So is the Super Bowl, if they don't win it with this wonderful record, is it a wash?
I don't think so. I'll be honest with you. I feel like the Lions. This is like a stepping stone for them. I feel like, you were saying the window is always small.
Yeah.
I don't think it's closed for them, but I think if they're going to win a Super Bowl, it's got to be this year.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because you don't know what you're going to get next year. I mean, they've done what they've had to do in regards to winning with a ton of injuries on defense. They've adapted well defensively. They've adapted well offensively. But you don't know what you're going to get next year when, the news trending out of Sports Illustrated is Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson could possibly leave after the season. Yeah. We've been hearing that kind of all season long.
And go back. My point to the 9-8 or whatever, to that, you've been muddied up. The Lions haven't been muddied up. You know what I mean? By law, they've won 15 games. So almost 500 record, 1 over 500, whatever you get in, and you you think that prepares you more to have those licks, to take those licks? The Lions have been just giving out lick after lick after lick, and this is going to be a new season.
I think they've come back from adversity. I think the Bills kind of punched him in the mouth there.
They did.
They lost earlier to the Bucs.
Yeah.
And both of those were home games.
Yeah.
And that's where, you're playing all your playoff games if you keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So SI, Sports Illustrated, said the Bears requested interviews with both Glenn and Johnson.
Don't do it. Do not do it.
I feel the same way.
Do not do it.
To me, Aaron, I feel like, in my opinion, too many people that are offense and defensive coordinators feel like they can take that head coaching spot and run with it. And how many failures have we seen with that?
A whole bunch. And too many. Because some guys are just coordinators. I know people, if you want the highest spot, you go out and get it. No, ask for a raise.
Well, that's what I think. I think the Lions, if they win the Super Bowl, or go to the Super Bowl, actually win the Super Bowl. I think Glenn and John, they should do what they can to keep both of those.
You have to. I know you guys aren't used to winning anything, but this is like you said, this is stepping stone, winning formula. Ask for raises. Bring everybody back. Run it back. You have a good thing going here. Mayo. He picked the wrong job. Now he's out of one.
Doug Peterson's out.
That's in my tele. Pierce. I mean, why would Ben Johnson go to Chicago?
Well, he would have your guy, Caleb Williams.
He doesn't have a line.
Well,
They got to do
it
all.
might take him a few years.
Yeah,
like Campbell.
They got to do too much.
The rumor is Ben Johnson, if he did go to Chicago, there's been rumors that he would not want Ryan Poles as the GM.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, I mean,
their organization's a mess from the top. It's messy up there from the top.
I hope that they, don't get me wrong. I love Aaron Glenn. I love Ben Johnson. I want to see this stick around. I want to see them create, I wouldn't say a dynasty, but create a culture here, even more than what they have up to this point. I want to see them, maybe win multiple Super Bowls in the next 2 or 3 years.
You have a possibility. Well,
to me, that would be, as a offensive coordinator, to be able to do that. I mean, that just to be able to win Super Bowl. Who cares if you're a head coach or the offensive coordinator?
Ben Johnson looks like a humble guy. He seems like he's not a rah-rah guy. He's not, you know what I mean? Glenn is kind of calm, cool, laid back. Everything, and they would mention him with the Saints. For what? Everything is not greener on the other side.
Right.
Keep making Campbell look good.
Well, here's something shocking, but it's not, because everybody, I think, gets an interview. They are also interested in the Giants OC, Mike Kafka. Why? The Giants are abysmal.
Is this a good old boy network?
It must be.
What in the world?
The defensive coordinator from Miami, Anthony Weaver. If there's a team that can't stop anybody, it's Miami.
Listen, man, there's nobody out there. Seriously. I'll get into it and tell it like it is, but there's nobody out there. There's nobody out there. Like, Ben, don't do it, Ben. And I'm not a Lions fan, but keep this thing rolling as long as you can. Ask for a raise. You got the money. If Campbell makes 7, ask for 6. That's all. You're still going to get recognized. Is that what it is? What is it really all about? Is it the money? Is it the power? Because winning is winning. That's the problem. I'm not getting the ball enough in Philadelphia. You're winning.
Yeah. San Diego Cam writes in, Kirby Joseph being snubbed is honestly a travesty. I agree with that. And C was his answer to the Roar trivia, which was what tight end holds the career touchdowns for the Lions. Chris from Toledo writes in, if you're a good team, who cares if you win the division or not getting in the playoffs? Getting in the playoffs is what matters.
Right.
A good team should win on the road. He says B. Charlie Sanders for his Roar question.
Okay.
Well, let's see. Let's tackle. Well, let's do this. Jared and David came up with a nice montage of some players. Let's talk about some of these great Lion players this year and what they've done. Jared Goff. Let's show some of his highlights this year.
Good season.
He's had a great season.
Yeah,
Dallas lit Dallas up there.
Yeah, he did.
That was a big game for them.
Yeah. It was their Super Bowl.
That was their Super Bowl, you think?
Yeah.
37-9 at that point.
Even though we didn't have any players. But
That was a 50. He went on the road and beat the Cardinals, which, at the time.
But he's played well. He's made smart decisions.
I agree.
He threw a pick last night, but oh well.
Well, he almost threw a second pick that could have went for a pick 6.
See, we'll get into that.
Yeah, the Buccaneers. This game here was, to me, when you look at it, They weren't going to beat the Buccaneers. I didn't feel like at this point in the season they were going to beat the Buccaneers.
Well, I thought they would have because Buccaneers, like I said, they had no offensive line either. I mean, no defensive line either. All of their guys were out. But that's one of those gritty games, ugly games, you know.
They went and defeated Matt Stafford again at Ford Field.
And that hasn't paid off, folks. That trade hasn't paid off yet.
It's Super Bowl or bust.
It's Super Bowl or bust.
But you don't think who they got, like Gibbs and who did they got? Jamison?
Oh, Gibbs is way over
The
here.
draft picks?
Gibbs is here.
You don't
Gibbs
think
is like Halle
you
Berry
don't
with
think
other ladies.
you don't think that's been
Like there's Halle Berry and then there's everybody else. Gibbs and then there's everybody else. But the Super Bowl has to play out.
okay.
Golf has to win a Super Bowl. There's no other way around this, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing about it,
So you think so the trade at this point has worked out better in the Rams' favor, even though the collection of people we got in the draft from that Matt Stafford trade.
the trade has worked out for the regular season.
Okay.
It hasn't worked out for the Super Bowl. McVay sent him packing because he didn't think he'd win a Super Bowl. Let's cut through the chase of that. We know that. Stafford went and won it. And that is where golf has to get. So, okay, there's Deshaun Watson, there's Sam Darnold, there's Carr, there's Dak, there's Tua, there's Purdy, there's Cousins, there's Mayfield. Those guys are all in the same line. You're never going to win with them, period. Golf is a little bit above that because he has to win the big game. Those guys are never going to win it. Never. Never, 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 never.
Well, Cousins, he's out of a job.
Tua,
Mayfield.
I like Mayfield. I like the grit. I like the gut. He's in a weak division, and that kind of glosses it over.
And you're in a weak division, and you were 10-7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But he's a gritty guy. I've always liked Baker.
And they even try to throw Herbert there.
No, not yet.
Not yet. If anyone, him. But golf has to get over that line. Then he'll get into the talks. He's over them, but he's got to get.
And you think he's got to win a Super Bowl in order to do that?
He has to.
Okay.
He's over them. He's not waddling around in that mess because it's mess. Derek Carr and it's mess. It's teams that can win a few games and then that's it. When the lights get bright, we saw it yesterday. And I've been pushing for Darnold. I said he's in the right spot. The lights were too big. Golf, you got to get over the lights.
Okay.
Another
player on the Lions. Would you consider Amon-Ra St. Brown, his season this year, do you consider it a successful one compared to the hype that obviously he's done very well since he's been in the league. Yeah. As you can see here, he's pretty consistent. Do you feel like the hype really wasn't as much this year because of all the weapons they had? You see them utilizing more Williams, obviously Montgomery. Yeah. Amon-Ra, he was,
his number?
He was to me, I thought he was lights out last year. I'm not saying he wasn't this year.
No, he was.
I'm not saying that at all.
It wasn't as good as last year.
You're right.
That's why I don't make him great.
Okay.
Chase is great.
You don't make him great.
No, Chase is great. Again, Jefferson's great. They always, no matter what. CD's great.
But would you say? You say Jefferson's great.
He is.
But my thing is this: Amon-Ra seems to be able to get break free and get through these things.
That's because their system. That's because Amon-Ra, again, more weapons. Minnesota had weapons, but they don't have those weapons. And then look where he's always inside. You know what I mean? He can do. Everybody's keying in on Jefferson. He's got help over here. He's got help over there. That's all. But they have to win too. But
Jefferson has. There's other weapons.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They do. Yeah, they do. But the Lions scheme is so good for Amon-Ra. He's always open. He's kind of like Cup. It's kind of that. It's the same thing because golf ran that in L.A. It's the same thing here. They just have a better back. Much better.
another player for the Detroit Lions. I called him the human tank because earlier this year, David Montgomery was the guy. I'll tell you something. You almost seen him featured a little more earlier on than Jahmyr Gibbs. And, man, this guy's, speedy. He got the extension. And, obviously, talent-wise, I would say Gibbs is obviously more talented. But Montgomery, I think, is a featured piece in this offense before he got hurt.
I don't think you need him. I don't think you need him anymore. People thought, Montgomery, I never thought he was that good in Chicago. Now, people thought, because they saw him a lot, and they didn't know if Gibbs could hit the holes. That was the issue. Right. I said all along, this guy he's the feature. Okay. Montgomery's good back, but you don't need him.
Okay. Well, guess what?
I don't think you need him, Lion.
Guess who's decided to call him?
Do you need Hutch?
We do need Hutch.
Okay.
Hutch, if we can get him back by the Super Bowl, I would love to have Hutch.
Let's find out what's Hutch's progress, because he was up walking.
He was up walking. He's been kind of helping out coaching.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
And he's coaching up that defense.
He'll be a good coach.
Well, guess who we have online?
It's got to be Joe.
From Eastvale, California. I know he said he was having some problems getting in tonight. Yeah. But he's here with his chain, the EVJ in the background. And, Joe, what are your thoughts about the Lions clinching the division and the number 1 seed? I know you got a lot to say tonight.
What a ball game, and what a way to prove that they belong. I was worried, with the defense, having its struggles for the last several games. But you know what? They showed out yesterday. They came big and played big the whole game. I think the kid, Amik Robertson, did an unbelievable job on Jefferson. And Jefferson, I don't know, man. I've never seen him drop balls like that before, but he had some balls in his hands that he didn't catch. And, there's got to be 1,000 reasons why a receiver might not be able to hold on to a ball, but he did a great job. Anzalone, his presence alone in the middle seemed to make a huge difference in the defense and how they just swarmed. Chris Collinsworth, I think Chris Collinsworth is a very good color commentator. He knows the game so well. He explained how, the defensive line just kind of enveloped Darnold and didn't over penetrate, which they've had a problem with sometimes during the season. And they were able to circle him and not over penetrate and put pressure on him, move him out of the pocket. And, Darnold's had a great season, but I don't think he's all that great of a quarterback. We've seen that over the first several years of his career. So
yeah, I to piggyback, I just said that.
Oh, did
he's
you?
Not great. He's not great.
I haven't heard anything you guys said today.
Oh, okay.
That's okay, Joe.
Yeah,
we like to repeat ourselves.
No, we're just saying. I love to repeat myself. He's not great.
I agree.
There's so back in the day it was Elway, Montana. Those guys were great. Now these guys are great. So it's only 5. There's only 5 considered to be great quarterbacks in the NFL right now: Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo, L.A.
Quarterbacks? You think Lamar is up there with Montana and them?
No. I'm saying those guys were great.
Okay.
I'm saying like the now. The great guys considered great now is Lamar, Burrow, Buffalo's kid, obviously the Kansas City kid, and Stafford. Those are the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL, period. Hands down.
I think Jackson is freaking an incredible quarterback.
He'd probably win MVP again.
I mean, he has proven that he is he's a legitimate thrower nowadays.
He has.
He used to be a running threat only, but that dude, he's got a great arm and he's making very good decisions all season long. I just think Lamar Jackson's thing is that he chokes in the big games. I mean that's been the bottom line. He has not played well in the playoffs or in big games, and it seems that the pressure really bothers him a lot.
And it comes down to that one, Yeah.
Well, Joe, listen. So, what were your takeaways for the game last night? Were you kind of shocked at how slow that offense kind of got started? Was that kind of disturbing a little bit to you? It kind of reminded me of the Bills game a little bit.
Yeah, totally. I mean, both the Bills and the Vikings have better defenses than most of the teams we've played all year long.
Yeah.
So when you put a good defense against a good offense, it'll take some time, to work out, the kinks and find your way. And I just think Detroit's resilience and their constant pounding, up the middle, takes a toll on any defensive line. And they were able to make timely, passes. And, I can't say enough about Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, he didn't have a whole lot of catches yesterday, but when he was needed and when he had to make a cut and find some distance between him and his defender, he was able to do it and get open and give Goff a target to throw to, and he did it multiple times throughout the game. The same thing with Jameson Williams. He's made himself a legitimate threat, in the league, and he's gained a huge amount of confidence. And Goff's proven to be a stalwart. He's no slouch in there, and I think
proven to be what?
I think he could be a championship quarterback too.
I do too. I think so.
Well, yeah. If Joe Namath can be, Trent Dilfer can be. Yeah, he can.
I would put Goff above
That is
Trent
funny.
Dilfer.
Oh no, of course. I'm just
Trent
saying.
Dilfer.
He's a
He
hostile
dropped
alert.
Trent Dilfer's name.
No, I'm just saying. if he can, absolutely, Goff can do it. Absolutely. But can he win the big game?
But I'll tell you something. You're talking about being great and good and all that other stuff. But when you even look at it in other sports, Hall of Famers, does Hall of Famer automatically make you great? Because you got people in the Hall that are not in the Hall that you could say are great and haven't made it. And I'm not talking about them retiring recently. I'm talking like guys like, not to jump into baseball, but, does a Hall of Fame automatically give you that great title? What do you think, Joe?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hands down. If you make it to the Hall of Fame, you are great. No doubt about it. If you're playing at the professional level and you make it to the Hall of Fame, the professional level, it doesn't get any better. You are great. Are you the greatest? Maybe not. But, you are great at what you're doing if you're in the Hall
But
of
does
Fame.
stats make you great?
Well,
Absolutely.
It has
It's
to,
the main
yeah.
thing. It's the main thing that
It has to.
you're judged by and what you're measured by.
But Corey's always made the argument that, when we talked about Matt Stafford on the show, he said all that time is garbage stats, all the touchdowns and yardage and stuff like that. But my thing is, where do you but then you got guys, does world championships make you great? Dan Marino never got a world championship. So the stats would have been proven there.
Well, his stats were off the charts.
Right, but he never won anything.
Right. Well, because
But there can be. Can you say that there's?
non-winner. Yeah, I know what you're
Can you say that there can be great players that may have not made the Hall and may have not won the championships, but the stats are there? Could you consider some players like that a great player?
Sure. Yeah. I think you can. Some guys don't get the stats because they suffer an injury, in the middle of their career or at the height of their career, and they never attain the stats. And some guys are great. They just don't have all the numbers, or they just don't generate a whole lot of publicity around.
a la Bo Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. A great two-sport athlete.
Yeah.
He has a
Career
major fall during a game. I think it was against frickin' the Cowboys. Was it the Raiders? Well, he was playing with the Raiders.
No, you're
but I
playing
think
with the
it was
Raiders.
against-
I'm sorry.
It was against the Cowboys, and he
remember
went
that.
down, and he was never the same after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Those guys are.
I
There's
think
lots
that-
of great players.
Or does great players just somebody's opinion?
No,
I mean, because you got championships, you have stats, You have, longevity too. I mean, stats can be influenced by longevity. Look
Yes.
at Jerry Rice, probably the best wide receiver in football, but he played 20 years.
Yeah, but before he started going crazy and playing with other teams, it was ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he was ridiculous. So, but I hear what you're saying.
That dude had hands like nobody's business.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, I agree with you.
He caught anything that was around him.
Yeah.
I just feel like to put somebody to say somebody's not a great player because they haven't won so many
No, you can't say
championships,
that. I don't think you can say
or
that.
may not have may not be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think it's to me it's almost more opinion based.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's eye test, it's opinion, but championships and stats create it. John Sally has 5 championship rings. He's not a Hall of Famer.
Right.
So I hear what you're saying.
Nor is he really even a great player. I mean, he was
Exactly.
he was a good player, a good
Right.
role player in a
Right.
in a system that worked for
Right.
him. He was a big forward. He liked to
Right.
rebound. He had
Right.
he had Dennis Rodman, to jump through the
Right. Right.
sky.
So yeah,
with,
yeah, that kind of yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, was he great? No, but does he have a bunch of championships?
Right.
Yeah. And he was a good team player.
Right.
to
So
have
you
on your
kind of
team.
have to go by the numbers. That's what they do it. That's why Rose is who Rose is. He hit 4,000 some odd hits. That's ridiculous. So that's what it is. But golf has its chance to prove to be great. He's got a way to go, but we'll see.
Well, how many championships is he going to have to win for you to think that he's a great quarterback? I want to get this from him, Joe.
All right, let's hear
He's
it.
kind of bashed golf a little bit throughout the season.
Hey, lights out, MVP candidate, runner up, or whatever he's going to be. He just has to win the Super Bowl.
Just one Super Bowl.
He has to win the Super Bowl. He has to win the Super Bowl to be like, oh, next season they can get back again. He has to do this. The trade hasn't worked out. It hasn't.
Well, let's put it this way. He has played 3 seasons where he was, all pro. The season that they lost the Super Bowl when he was in LA, and the last 2 seasons with the Lions, he's been outstanding. And it was a little unfortunate that they weren't able to win that Super Bowl in LA. But they had a major injury with Todd Gurley, when he went down, that changed the face of their offense. And he was like a 2-year wonder at that point. So he's always possessed the tools to be great. He just hasn't had, and he's had pretty decent teams around him, but now he's got a real team, and I think he's had an epiphany with his toughness. I think his toughness has started to become a part of his persona, and I think that's due to being in Detroit, honestly.
Well, they had a good system in LA. He had an all-world defense when they went, but he didn't have the receivers like that he had, now. But I think
Right.
Cup was a pup, or he had Woods. Like he didn't have the receiver.
Yeah.
He didn't have he didn't. So they didn't score much then, but he had an all-pro defense. But like I said, LeVay, what's his name?
McVay.
He saw something that he didn't like. So
Well,
that's my beef.
I don't
That's
know
just
if
my
it was
beef with
something
him.
that he didn't like necessarily, but I think Goff's knock after his first couple seasons was he seemed a little bit soft, and when he played that way, he threw a bunch of interceptions,
He did.
and no coach was going to want to see that.
Right.
And but he always had the tools to be
Yeah.
a very good quarterback in the league. So
can't show up.
when the trade came about with Stafford, Stafford's been the toughest quarterback in the league for 10 years. Prior to him coming to LA, he's just who the hell plays 5 games with a broken back, in the NFL,
Right.
and he did. So what can you say? Those guys Goff has gotten tougher. He didn't have the toughness that McVay wanted, or needed, in his quarterback when they made the flip flop, and they got what they needed because they got an all-star quarterback who was tough and who was smart and who was a championship caliber quarterback. They put him in a good system with good receivers and a great defense, and it all freaking worked out for him that year. So the Lions, who knows? They have the same kind of chemistry right now. Where they have a great team, they have a good offense, they have a very good defense that proved itself last night. But hell, what's the story with Terrion Arnold? I haven't even heard a report about him yet.
From what I heard, he said he's going to play in the playoffs. That the X-rays were negative. He was one of the ones that he actually was carted off the field last night.
Yeah,
and Terrion said he was going to be able to play in the playoffs, which is a good thing.
I got 2 questions for you, Joe.
Yeah. Shoot.
Do the Lions win the Super Bowl? That's the question.
They can. Hell yeah, they can win the Super Bowl.
Nope. I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you that.
You asked me, are they going to?
Yeah.
Man, yeah, they're going to win the Super Bowl, bro. Yeah, that's my answer. Yes, they're going to win it. I know that's what you wanted me to say, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're going to win it.
All right.
I keep telling you, I keep saying I've said all year long. They have 2 games to win to get to the Super Bowl. If they make it to the Super Bowl with Goff, with St. Brown, with Jahmyr Gibbs, all healthy, and they keep their offensive line healthy, they're going to win.
Yeah, because Zeitler went out with a hammy towards the end.
Yeah, but it didn't look like a serious hammy. I bet he's going to be back next game. 2 weeks, he's going to be back.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say the Lions will win the Super Bowl.
Well, they won't. There's a limb.
I'm gonna walk out on that limb. Why not?
I'm walking with you, Scott.
They've been all or nothing. So I'm going to have to stick with that.
I'm walking with you now. I'm going to go ahead and take that walk with you.
And
we're
that's
hang out
real.
Okay. We're going to hang out on the pier.
I did. Now, a couple years ago, I did say, we talked about it on the Cohen Bro Opinion Show. I said Matt Stafford would win a Super Bowl with the Rams, and Corey didn't believe me, and that came true. So
that's not true.
Yeah, it is.
No.
I'll have to replay the tape.
Yeah, that's
on
not
that.
true. I didn't say. Well, he had to prove it too. I mean, he wasn't just a come over, but he had an all-world defense. He had Sam Darnold.
But it's a team sport. We talked about that before.
Now, so they may have to see the kid in Kansas City. He's been resting too. The Lions see Kansas City. They beat him.
The Lions can beat Kansas City. Yes.
Not 2 years ago or last year. I'm talking about. You want health? Kansas City's got health. Kansas City healthy. Mahomes healthy.
We can beat Kansas City.
Okay.
I think we could beat Kansas City.
I think the Lions can beat Kansas City. I think they can beat Buffalo, and I think they can beat the Eagles. So and they can definitely beat Baltimore. So
see, I would be a little worried about Baltimore with the 3-headed monster, Lamar, and Henry. You guys don't do well. Your kryptonite is running quarterbacks. Mahomes is going to be your kryptonite because they're going to three-peat. That's what's at stake for them. No team. I know you guys have just done this history thing.
Mahomes is not going to win this year.
Okay.
He's not winning this year.
Okay.
It's going to be someone else. There's going to be a new
I think you're going to see a lot of
I
think you're going to see in the playoffs. I think you're going to see some upsets that you probably didn't think.
I'm betting on Mahomes. I got to bet on Mahomes until somebody proves it otherwise. And they're playing for something that's never happened, like you guys have done this year. You've never been in the playoffs like a lot, and you've never been in the NFC hosting. So you feel it. Your fans, you feel it. I'm just going off of Mahomes' history, Andy Reid, defense, Kelsey retiring. It's a lot. It's a big story to this, and it's the three-peat. Goff won't be going up against Darnold.
Maybe.
He won't be going up against Darnold.
He'll go up against Darnold if they beat Los Angeles.
No. I'm talking about the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah.
Now, he's not going up against Darnold. He's not.
Do you think
Big difference.
Minnesota's going to come back and beat the Rams? Because I think the Rams look kind of tough.
I think the Rams will probably beat them.
I think they got a chance to beat them for sure.
I think they will. No, they have
Well, they beat them earlier.
They have the better quarterback.
They do, for sure, hands down.
Yeah.
So, but
And they're
do
healthy.
you think they'll win?
Yeah, I think the Rams will beat Minnesota. Minnesota sold out last night. Like I said, he turned back into the pumpkin. He turned back into the Jack.
Minnesota has been beatable all year long. They just they haven't lost. You know, they've come through and you know, like I said, I've never seen Jefferson drop 3 passes like he dropped.
Yeah. Well, you had said it earlier.
Night.
Something was missing. Yep, I agree with you. Yeah, Rams beat them. That's
And I think the Lions, you know, it was surprising to see the Lions put that much pressure on the quarterback. And I'm telling you, dude, I think it was bringing Anzalone back in the middle, freed up.
Oh yeah,
those
definitely
guys.
made a difference.
Huge difference. Huge difference.
You know, yeah.
I don't know
Anzalone's
if you
good.
saw Campbell's post game.
Anzalone's that good?
Dude,
Yes.
Hey, he makes a difference. It's a mental thing. It's a psychological thing.
Really?
You know, and I think that's the power of Dan Campbell too. I think it's more psychological than anything. I think he's got Ben Johnson and Terry Glenn to tighten and all the nuts and bolts and make that thing work. But he's got the psychological edge on everybody right now, and he's got those guys believing they can win whatever they want to win. And I tell you, when I look at Super Bowls and championship teams, from all sports, the team that seems most driven and a team that appears and seems to have in its heart that they are not going to, they're not going to lose. That's what I'm seeing in Detroit's team right now. And you've never seen that with them, not with the Lions anyway. You saw that with the Red Wings a few years, back in the 90s. They hadn't won 54 years.
But not only that,
54 years, but they were not going to be denied in 97. And it was unbelievable how they came together and did not allow it to happen. They had lots of pushback, from other teams, but they were determined to win, and they won.
well, not only that, this isn't your same old Lions. I mean, this is a team, in my opinion, that has been able to adapt to every hardship that they've encountered this season. I mean, they haven't lost 2 games in a row. They went 8-0 on the road. You're 6-0 in the division. Your defense was completely depleted, and every team that they've come up against, they've always been able to find something new and throw those good teams off their game. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, it's a good. I mean, hey, Colin Bro opinion show. The Roar. It's well, I don't think the Lions. I don't think they played a lot of good teams, to be honest with you.
Well, I think they played good teams. I mean, you had to play the Packers twice. You won.
Everybody's
You had to
good
play
in the
Minnesota twice.
Well,
They won.
no,
Minnesota
I said
has a great record.
I said a lot of good teams.
Okay.
I just don't like.
You had to play the Bucks. You lost to the Bucks.
Bucks not a good team.
Well,
They're good for the South.
They're-
I hear what
they're-
you're saying. No, I just don't think
They're
the
a
schedule.
playoff team.
The toughest
Yeah.
the toughest schedule was in the division. Like
absolutely.
The Cardinals was nothing. Dallas had no players. The Rams had no players. The Bucks had no players. They lost that. They didn't. To me, they didn't. Texans could have beat you through 5 picks. They didn't play a lot of good teams. And my other question was, do you think all of this winning and not, all of this winning, and they didn't, really like take a lot of losses? This is a new season. I don't think they played a lot of good teams. You guys can sit here and say they did because they won a lot of games, but they beat a lot of bad teams. Let's be honest. They did. You beat Love when he had one leg, and they could have lost the game that at home against Love. Chicago, I mean, how many good teams did they beat? Seriously.
well,
I mean, name them.
we talked
I
about
think
it.
you
You
can
only
say
can
that
play who's in
about
front of
every-
you.
Right,
say about
that's what I'm
every team.
saying. I know you only play who's in front of you, but that's what I'm saying. They didn't play a lot of good teams. They didn't.
Nobody
Look at the
plays a
record.
lot of good teams. Everybody beat up on the other teams. I just think that's
disagree with
nonsense.
I disagree with that. I disagree with
I
that.
think everybody in the NFL is good. You know, even the third teamers, they're good football players.
Well, yeah, they're in the
Nobody is a
pros.
bad football
Yeah.
player in the NFL.
Right.
You know, so you know, did they gel as a team? You know, maybe not. Were they good teams? You know, not by their record, but that's why you play the game every Sunday, is because anytime you go out on that field, you might get smacked in the mouth. You know,
yeah.
and if you don't allow it to happen, then you know, someone can call you a good team. You know, so.
Okay.
All right, Joe.
All right.
I know you didn't get to hear the Rourke trivia question, so I'm gonna
No.
read it back to you.
All right.
What Detroit Lion tight end has the most career touchdowns? Is it A, Sam Laporta, B, Charlie Sanders, C, Brandon Pettigrew, D, David Hill, or E, David Sloan? What do you think, Joe?
Shoot. Who did you say before Pettigrew?
Charlie Sanders.
Charlie Sanders.
You're going with Charlie Sanders?
I'm gonna go with Charlie Sanders.
All right, Charlie Sanders it is.
That's back in the day.
So let me ask you this. We had talked about it before you got on. Do you think, this is the Roar poll question that was written in by Tank Davis from Detroit. He said, do you think there should be a receding format in the NFL that gives a team with a better record a chance to get a home game over a division winner? So what do you think on that, Joe?
You know what? You could no, I don't think so. I think they're doing it the right way. You know, bottom line is we had one division, you know, the NFC North, that had 3 outstanding teams in it this year, you know, with outstanding records. You know, so that question is clearly geared towards, you know, hey, should Minnesota get a better, you know, selection? Well, bottom line is each of these divisions, you know, they have winners. They play the whole season. You play to win your division, and then you look to see who's going to get the number 1 seed or the seeding. So you can't continually tweak it just to what, to get a possibility of a better draw. No, I don't think so. I don't think that works out in the end. I think it's fine. You know, the bottom line is whoever's going to win it all, they have to go through everybody that's winning anyway. You know, you're going to have to play somebody good no matter what. You can't dodge other teams. You're going to beat if you win it all, you're going to beat the best teams that are playing the best at that time. You know, so
Okay, so yesterday was meaningless? I thought it was.
no, yesterday was for the number 1 seed, but if we had lost, we'd be playing LA on Sunday. We wouldn't get the bye, and we'd be playing LA on Sunday on the road, which
Right.
would suck. That would suck for us, and it sucks for Minnesota. But no, I don't think we deserve an advantage over LA because of that, or any other team because of that. We lost our division if we'd have lost yesterday.
I know. I thought you were saying like it doesn't matter. That's why I asked.
Because honestly, if you were to look at it, if they would have did a reseeding, obviously Detroit would have had the bye. Eagles would have been 14-3, which is the same record as the Vikings. So basically, the Vikings would have been the 3 seed if they reseeded, and they would have had to have played. You know, I mean, if you reseeded around the Bucks.
Listen.
No, the Vikings wouldn't have been a 3 seed. They would have been 15-2.
If they had to if they reseeded it, if Detroit obviously has the bye, Eagles are 14-3, Vikings are 14-3.
Right,
so if they
right. It would've-
reseeded, they
it
would
would've
have.
changed.
They end up getting
Right.
the 5th seed, and they have to go and play a 10-7 Rams team. They won 4 more games.
So yeah, real quick, this is the last regular season.
The last
Russia,
regular
so
season. Yes.
We're giving the folks a little bit more.
Yeah.
So my team, if I'm a Lions fan, which I'm not,
Surprise, surprise,
we're
right?
not at all.
We all know that already, Corey. Gosh.
You know, if I was a Lions fan, you know who scares me really, really? Green Bay and the Rams. I don't want to see them. If I'm being honest with myself. If I'm a Lions fan, I'm being honest with myself.
Green Bay does not concern me. The Rams do, though.
Okay. I'm not concerned with Philly. Philly's a mess, even though they're gonna argue their way out of a win. The reason why I say love, because he plays you guys tough, and we know what Stafford's capable of. He almost single-handedly beat you in the beginning of the year with nobody. So I'm just saying, as a Lion fan, is there anything you guys are just going to roll through? I know you guys are going to the Super Bowl. You're going to beat Mahomes, and everything's going to be great. And Kelsey and Taylor won't get married because of it. But
Wait a second. It's not all fantasy, bro. This is all based on reality and what's already happened this season.
I agree with
and
you,
last season. It's not fantasy. Come on now.
Well,
on,
listen.
Corey.
While
Give
we're
us some
talking about
credence
this,
here.
do you have some time to stay on with this show?
real quick,
Sure.
Let's talk playoff picture. So I want to get your opinion. That way we have a three-headed monster here. So the AFC right now, the Chargers have to go to Houston to play the Texans. Who do you got in that, Joe?
You know what? I think the Chargers are the better team, in the end. I think their defense has been playing great. They're going to give up a bunch of points, but they're able to score points. The question in that game will be, can the Texans defense stop the Chargers? And, that's just a crapshoot. I think that game's a toss-up. It's a 3-point game, I think, at best. It's a 3-point or less game.
yeah,
Who you got, Cole?
I like the Chargers.
You got the I'm going to go with the Chargers. Chargers all around. Next game, the number 6 Steelers take on the number 3 Ravens in Baltimore. Who do you have?
Baltimore. Baltimore's going to kick the shit out of the Steelers.
Baltimore by,
Pardon me. Sorry about
Baltimore
that.
by 20. Steelers are a mess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't see an upset here? A possible upset here?
With the Steelers in Baltimore?
Yeah. Interdivision rivals?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No,
I mean, maybe it's time for a change of pace with Tomlin. Maybe a new voice. I don't know. I like him.
I've heard they have Mike Tomlin. They need to make a change there. But
I don't think Pittsburgh's defense is good enough to
not.
stop Baltimore's offense. And Derrick Henry is still a beast. I don't know how that guy can run over that many people in a season and not be hurt. And Lamar has been playing good. I kind of, what I'm looking for most in that game is to see how the pressure affects Lamar Jackson's performance. If he looks a little bit jittery, I think it's only going to get worse as the playoffs go on. And I think they should be able to get past Pittsburgh.
could this be a trap game?
No,
Broncos versus the Bills.
No.
In Buffalo.
no.
There's got to be an upset in here somewhere.
Not that one.
What do you think, Joe?
Not that
Dude,
one. Bo Nix is a
I tell
rookie.
you, Bo Nix is a gamer, man. He
I love
reminds me of Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield is a gamer, and he's a crapshoot. If that dude comes out and is throwing the ball accurately, you never know what could happen. I think the Bills are the team that's most likely to end up in the Super Bowl over
KC?
over Kansas City. Yeah. I think the Bills are most likely going to get there. They've been denied several times, and I think that they're playing the best that they can play. The only question is, the Lions did not play well that game. Their defense was decimated. Their offense was sputtering early and then, came alive in the second half. But the bottom line is, I don't think anyone can really. They're not going to be able to deny the Bills. I think the Bills are going to play good. I don't think their defense is all that great, and that's going to be their downfall.
Yeah, they're getting some players back, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yep.
So let me ask you this. We'll go into the NFC. Do you think this is where the upsets will occur? You got the Packers heading into Philly. They take on the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to be too much for the Packers. I just do. Barkley, I don't think the Packers are going to be able to stop him. What are you guys' thoughts?
Like I said, I got the Phillies. So that would eliminate you guys seeing, Love again.
You see the Phillies hitting some homers or what?
I think the Philly, because Saquon is on a mission. Saquon is on a mission. There's kind of no answer for Brown when he's ready to play. They have a good offensive line. Hurts can beat you inside and out. I'm not a Hurts fan. I don't think he's a great passer, but he makes throws and he can run, which could be your kryptonite too. Because you have no answer for Brown, I don't think.
We had an answer for Jefferson.
Or Saquon. I get it. You guys are happy. You're going to Super Bowl because you beat Minnesota yesterday. But what I'm saying is Saquon is something to deal with as well. He is. So that's kind of I don't think Lions can beat them, but they got a good back too. Actually, the number 2 back in the NFL. So.
Commanders head to Tampa. Is this a trap game? I mean, this could be. I mean, is this if the Buccaneers won, or even if the Commanders won? Would it be a huge upset if either one of these teams took this game over the other?
The trap game would be Washington playing the Lions, because he's something else. They beat the Buccaneers, I think.
I think the Bucs are going to win that game.
I think the Commanders beat them.
I say the Bucs are going to win that ball game.
And I think we talked about this earlier.
Baker's good.
You got
season.
the Vikings. Do you have the Rams over the Vikings, Joe?
Yep.
You know what? I think I do, because Sam Darnold was shaken last night and he got rocked a few times. And I think Jefferson's going to have a better game, but I don't think Darnold's going to be able to put that many passes into his hands for scores. So, I see the Rams being able to play a good game, and then we're going to have to play the Rams in the end.
Oh boy, yeah. Stafford's been there before. That's why they will beat Minnesota,
and
like
then,
you said.
And then they're going to get smacked for the second time this season by the Lions.
Okay, well they have something to prove. Stafford wins. He gets an NFC. I got him in the Hall of Fame.
Well, if Commanders beat the Bucs, we got the Commanders. They're the lower seed.
They're not no slouch. They're no slouch. Jaden Daniels is a monster. He's heck on wheels. It's gonna be an interesting playoff.
He's heck on wheels.
He's heck on wheels, man. He's something to deal with. He's a problem.
He's a good player, man.
It's just your offense is better than their defense. But Jaden Daniels will give anybody problems. Anybody.
Exactly. Our offense is better than their defense. That's the key.
Yep.
So
I'm a realist, man. You guys can do it. I don't think you will, but you can. You can get there. Like, I just think Mahomes and Reed won't be denied. I just think it's just that kind of storyline.
I think Mahomes and Reed can be denied, and they're going to get denied.
Well, he has been denied the last 2 years.
Who's going to beat them? It could be Baltimore or
everybody kept
Baltimore.
saying, like, the regular season means nothing to me, but
You
they
don't
won
think the
15
Bills
games.
could knock them off?
They haven't.
They haven't. But that's not the question. The question is, can they this time?
No, because I got them winning the Super Bowl. No, just like you guys can beat Kansas City. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me saying that the Bills can't beat them? You're saying the Lions can beat Kansas City. That's your opinion. That's what you think.
Correct.
Buffalo has not. Well, you know what Kansas City has proven? They win Super Bowls. You haven't. It's a big difference.
It's the past. Those are all in the past. We're talking about this season.
Okay. Well, they're 15-2.
This season and in a couple weeks. We'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
Well, Joe, I want to thank you for coming on. You've been with us since preseason.
Yeah, come back with the playoffs.
And every it seems like every week he comes on, he's got some different paraphernalia on.
He's a true Lion fan.
I mean, anybody that has an EVJ in the back, in lights,
dude. I can't even believe my daughter came up with that. Got to thank Brianna for the Christmas gift. Thank God for Christmas, because
that's right.
That's when new stuff comes around. I got these nice jerseys, and this kid was great last night. Jameer Gibbs.
That is true.
Yeah, best back in football. Best back in football. Actually, you know what? I want to see Kansas City and the Lions. I want the Lions to get there.
Yeah,
So
me
you'll
too.
see-
I would love to see that game.
So you'll see this and you'll see this in quarterbacking. That's what's going to happen. That's what you're going to see. So, yeah, Lions, win the whole thing. Win the NFC East and go play the kid in the red and white.
Can't take nothing away from that guy and Mahomie, but I think we can beat him. We have
I
a
think
better
we can,
offense
too.
than their defense. So, and I think we can stop their offense a few times, and that's what we've done a couple different times for the last couple of years.
Well, you'll have a good coaching matchup. Well, Spags is great. I'm not even going to read, and I'm not. Okay. So, yeah. Let's see it. Let's see it play out.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. It's gonna be fun. It'll be fun to talk about it over the next few weeks, huh?
This is going to be a great playoff. It is. It's going to be a great playoff. All seriousness,
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it. And we're going to be doing the show, so
It should be fun.
yeah, it will.
Joe, thanks for coming on. And listen, we'll be back playoff action in a couple weeks, and
Nice.
we hope to hear from you soon.
All right, I'll be around.
All right, Joe. Thanks a
for
lot,
having
buddy.
me
Thanks,
again,
Joe.
All right.
as always. Thank
right.
you.
East
All right, guys.
Vale Joey, our #1 Detroit Lion fan,
Gotta love
calling in from California. You've been itching to get your Tell It Like
No,
It Is out.
no, it's a
I
quick
see
one.
it in your eyes.
No, it's not. It's not even really a tell it like it is.
Okay. Well,
It's
let's
a tell
hear
it
it.
like it is, but it's just quick. I know
Okay.
we're running over, but
No, we're good.
So we got the Jags, we got the Giants, we got the Dallas Cowboys, we got the Patriots, we got the Raiders, we got the Saints, Bears, Jets, Colts, Miami. All should be Black Monday. All of them should be fired. That's my take on it. Peterson's gone. Seems like they're sticking with Dable. I don't
You
know
think
why.
Mike McDaniels should get another shot?
No, we've seen enough.
I think he's probably lost the team. Tyreek Hill says he wants out.
Yeah, we've seen enough.
Yeah.
Why'd you leave?
Do you think?
You the one that
is
said
there a
Tua was
guy?
better than
No,
Mahomes?
no, is that a guy that should have stayed an
Yes.
offensive coordinator?
Who? McDaniel? Yes.
McDaniel.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Raiders, I saw that coming.
So, you said all these guys should be fired.
Yeah.
Is there even quality coaches out there
That's my
that
whole
should
point.
get those jobs?
I don't know. That's the whole point.
Or are they all retired?
Exactly. All that, yeah.
Because I don't want to see.
There's no more Seiferts and
I don't
Walshes
want to
and
see
Parcells.
any college coaches
I
coming
don't
out
either.
to take these
I
jobs.
don't like the young stuff. I don't like that. I
Chip
don't like
Kelly was abysmal.
Yeah, terrible. So, but you're to your point, my team's guy, 36 games in 3 years, playoffs, Super Bowl. But who's out there to replace him?
We know Bill Belichick isn't coming back. Carroll,
That's
where
not-
do you think Carroll goes?
I hope Chicago.
You think that would be a good thing for Caleb Williams?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. But there's no, like you said, who's out there?
Right.
The hot name is Vrabel and Johnson and Glenn. But those guys, they sick tight, man.
I mean, when you look at it, there's a lot of teams that have got to make some decisions.
Yeah.
Head coaching wise.
Yeah. Colts stuck around with their guy.
Here's my thing. If Miami decides to get rid of McDaniel, what's the better option out there?
Nothing. I don't
So
see
you
it.
stick with him.
I don't see
Pierce
nothing.
with the Raiders.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
Because when you think about it, there's really nobody out there.
But these teams are terrible.
Would you say? I would say Pete Carroll's probably the best candidate out
He's
there
the best
for
one.
any of those
For any of
jobs.
them, yeah.
We know he's not going to go to New England.
No. The Jets need a quarterback. Yeah, the Jets need a quarterback and a coach.
And a coach.
Yeah. Yeah, they got now Aaron, Jay Cutler on steroids. So I don't know, man. Those
Yes.
coaches, then you got Carolina. Those teams are, and that's why and my point is, just Ben and Glenn, be careful. Because you're on to something.
Right.
You're on to something. Get a Super Bowl, get two. Like I said, every job is not for you. this job, these guys are made for this.
Yeah.
They're made for it. Like the offense, the defense, it's crazy. They're made for it. So I'm not, hey, they money, what do I know? I thought the Vikings would win yesterday. So.
Well, that's true. You've made some off predictions this year, but we still love you, Cole.
Yeah.
Still love you. Listen, Co and I would like to thank everybody who has supported the show this year, either via Zoom or the Roar chat, and also the live fan interviews from rabid Lion fans outside Ford Field and beyond. Dave Scott with those. And we can't forget, this year, we can't forget our special guest. We had Tony Blankenship in here for a few weeks with it.
Shout out to Blank.
Former Packer defensive lineman Gilbert the Gravedigger Brown came in. Yep. His predictions were not that good. I mean, they were way off, actually. Former Denver Bronco Pro Bowler running back Bobby Humphreys joined us a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And I've enjoyed their expert insight.
Absolutely. Yeah, we need it. Yeah, teach me a thing or two here.
That's right.
Now, we will be with you guys during the playoffs, right?
Yes.
Okay. So go Lions, win the Super Bowl, because I don't want to hear in minicamp in June, this is our year. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear we're depleted. If Rakestraw could have came back, I don't want to hear that. It's Super Bowl or bust. I cannot stress that enough. All year, braggadocious, beating up on everybody. We putting up 40, putting up 35. Super Bowl or bust.
I think they can get there, folks. And I know if you're watching the Roar Live, you think they can get there too. And just like the Detroit Lions 2024 season, it's been a great ride for sure. And we're not done yet. As Corey said, we'll be around in the playoffs,
yes,
hopefully for the next 3 weeks.
To February, right?
Yeah, until February and beyond. So we're going to be covering the playoff run. So there's a lot more Lions football and the Roar Live coming to you. You just got to stay tuned.
Check us out on the Corn Bro, too.
So for your fix, speaking of that, your fix of fresh talk variety, make sure you catch the Co and Bro Opinion Show each and every week on your favorite podcasting platform.
Mm-hmm.
That is it right there. We are on iHeart, Spotify, Apple,
YouTube.
Coming up with some new episodes.
Yes.
Check us out. We'll have a week off here before we get back into playoff action on the Roar.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the Roar trivia, which Detroit Lions tight end has the most career touchdowns? Corey said Pettigrew. I believe Joey said Charlie Sanders.
He said Sanders, yep.
We've had some people
We
say
had a couple
David
of
Hill.
Pettigrews. We had some Hills, yep.
Are we ready for the answer? It is, ladies and gentlemen, B, Charlie Sanders, 31 touchdowns. And, hey, listen, Laporta, I think, by the end of his career, probably will have more than that. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, Laporta's nice. I like Laporta. That's another kid that's going to be a superstar. Not yet. I know we wanted to make him last year, but he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
Laporta's nice.
Hawkinson actually, when I was looking at the stats on that, Hawkinson actually had a few touchdowns
Hawkinson was good.
when he was here.
Hawkinson was decent. Yep. Hawkinson was good. Yep.
Okay, everybody.
Congrats, Lions. All
so
seriousness.
for our producers, Jared Clark and David White manning the Roar control room,
make it all happen.
executive producer Dave Scott, who makes all this happen. That's Mr. Tell It Like It Is, Corey Tiez. I am the outsider, Scotty William. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New
and
Year.
we'll see you next time right here on the Roar Live. Who will we have? That's the big question. Who are the Lions playing in the playoffs?
Hope it's Stafford.
See ya.